Well, I had to delay my video that I had today to talk about the NPFL. They canceled yesterday on Lake Eufaula for, I guess, thunderstorms and stuff like that. Man, we were just in that boat a month or two ago? When it was at Eufaula, and we had a one-day shootout. They're having a two-day shootout, but we had a one-day shootout. We had storms and everything. It wasn't even as high as it is now, but we just had bad storms, and I'm not sure. I didn't even know if you could fish when it's this high, but apparently you can. So maybe there was more to it of why we got our days canceled. So I'm watching it today. I've got a couple things, but one big one like hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm this guy that thinks about stuff like this. I'm always trying to figure out like why things aren't successful. Like, why are they successful? Why aren't they? What has changed? Why are we all looking at things? Like, why are we all looking at fishing not the same way we did 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago? And one thing hit me, and I haven't heard anyone say anything about it. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I haven't talked about it. But it dawned on me, maybe because we've had, the elites were at the Sabine, right? So it was just like shallow water fishing. 10 killer, same deal, like shallow water fishing. And now we're here, shallow, for the most part. It might be deep, but it's shallow water fishing because the lake's so high. And so guys are flipping and doing these things. And so it's just like one more tournament where it's just like some good old fashioned, just regular fishing. And I made a video the other day about kind of giving some advice to the, BASS and like the commentary and things like that. Some of it was to the commentary, some of it was to the anglers. Some of the anglers won't get it and they don't care, and that's fine, and some don't know how to fix it. Like, they're just not wired this way. But I was like, man, they had it on 10 killer, the camera on Jason Christie. I thought Jason Christie did a phenomenal job of just talking through stuff. Watching today, Greg Hackney. Now, I'm friends with Greg. We talk fishing. We talk more fishing industry than we do fishing. Not that, I don't know. So I don't pick his brain about stuff like that half the time. He was talking about like why he was in these areas, and I was just like listening. And I'm sitting here going, man, this is the guy I could call up and talk to about all this stuff. But I'm listening to him talk about like why he's in this stuff, and I'm figuring out like, okay, why he's in here with the water high and stuff like that. We were just on Eufaula. That was totally different because we were there during like peak spawn. So the way they're fishing, we really couldn't get bit. You could barely get bit that way. And it was only like 4 or 5, 6 foot high. They weren't on the outside edge of the bushes. They were like, we all think they were just going so far back in there. It was just hard to get to them because of them trying to spawn and get close to the bank. But I'm listening to Hackney, and I learned like a couple things in a 15-minute. He didn't talk for 15 minutes straight, but every time they go back to him, I'm listening. I was like picking up little things here and there. And then, the commentary, let the guys talk. They didn't like overshadow him and try to like talk over him. Some of the anglers didn't do that great of a job. It's not their fault, right? But the seasoned anglers, there's a reason like Hackney and Christie and some of these guys are superstars. Not only do they catch them, they just know how to talk, and it's not like a play-by-play. And I don't even want to give too much of this information out, to be honest with you, because this is what I do on YouTube. And my videos are full of like talking while I'm fishing to explain like what's going on in my head. But here's the one thing that caught my attention. There's the one thing that hit me like a ton of bricks. When I used to watch these tournaments unfold and go on, one, the NPFL, I didn't see it. So correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see them like have a map of like where everyone's at. So that was always a big deal to me. Eufaula, I know to a degree, to where if you put up the map, I would know like some of the places. I wouldn't know every place, but I'd be like, oh, he's right there. Okay, it's interesting. Chances are I probably wouldn't have fished a lot of these places. Who knows? I don't know. And then I find like where they're at in these places really interesting. That's just like more interesting to me. That's number one. How about that? And here's what I'll say. Most everything, and even on YouTube, and even on these things, they instantly tell you like what bait they're throwing and stuff like that, right? Top 10 baits, and this and that. And like, that's what everyone cares about. I almost care nothing about that. Like nothing. I care about where they're at and how they found the fish. I think that's 75 to 80% of it is that right there. And I'll tell you why. You want to know why? Here's why. When there's this like information rule that people break, and this cheating and not getting info, and I'm not talking even about the elites. I'm talking about, we have them all the time. We have no info rules on team tournaments and all kinds of things. When I say someone breaks the info rule, I instantly think of like guys asking where fish are. If people are breaking that rule, asking about baits and things like that, you can break that rule all you want to. You probably have no idea how to fish. It's like where fish are at. It's the location. So if like people are willing to get DQ'd over information of where fish are, that should tell you right then and there what's the most important thing. I'm not saying baits aren't important, stuff like that, but it's location. It's like where fish are. That is so much a bigger deal sometimes than the bait stuff. Here's what hit me. I'm watching all this, and that's why I'm kind of like, they're not catching very many fish. They weren't catching it when I was watching live. I almost saw 0 fish get caught. I don't even remember. I watched it for like 2 hours, and I didn't even really see a fish that mattered get caught. I was still intrigued about what they were doing and where they were at and how they were fishing a certain way. And so what hit me was this. That's what I cared about. That's what I liked. So what are we not getting? What have we not been getting over the past couple of years? I think this is it. I'm one of those guys that looks for these things, and it's been going on for years, and I haven't even like put my thumb on it. And I think I just did. And no one's ever talked about it. Sometimes it's hard to figure out why we don't like something. Right? We're watching it and we're going, I used to like this, but why don't I like it now? Like what am I missing? I don't understand. It's not as good as it used to be. I can't figure out why, right? Does that make sense? I cared about where they were at. And the problem is, what's happened, I think, over like the past, like the elites and everything, like everyone talks about this like information on YouTube and all these different things. I don't ever go to YouTube and get information. I don't even watch YouTube that much, almost never, like maybe 2 or 3 videos a year at most. So I don't know where all these things go down. Well, now I think with Livescope and YouTube, it's like if there's a tournament going on, and I've kind of seen some people do this, they just go look at the history, figure out where they're at, and they're like, okay, well, I don't have to find fish. I can just go there. And now I have Livescope that I don't have to even know, like, okay, he's in this general area. Because, stay with me here. If you saw a guy fishing a big point, right? And I'm not saying you're trying to hole jump this guy, but I'm just saying if you went out, I had things that I was fishing in places that I didn't care if people saw me. They weren't going to figure it out. They just weren't. I'm just telling you that I knew why they were there and they didn't. But now it doesn't matter. They could just scope around in these areas, and it doesn't matter what I knew about and why fish were holding there and what they were holding on. They can just look around and find one. And that's what's going on. Is that like you can look from a mile away or half a mile away or on YouTube or whatever, get a pretty good general idea. Drive over there. You don't have to side scan it. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Just put your trolling motor down, get Livescope, find out where you need to fish. And now you're a great fisherman. Now you're an elite fisherman. Now you're a professional. Am I wrong? I think that's what's going on. And so I'm looking at that going, why do I not think they're that good? Why am I not that impressed anymore? Because like fishermen don't impress me that much anymore. They impress me a little bit here and there, but now we're getting to this stuff, and I'm like, oh, so you can't do that at these events. You got to go like fish. You can't just put your trolling motor down and find them. You've got to figure out the bait and the area and what they're holding on and figure out all these things. And with the water changing like it's doing and it's flooding and things like that, like all that other stuff on your boat is pointless. It's like you've got to figure it out with your rod, reel, and bait. And here, mainly here. And then all these tricks that you've learned along the way, all the things that you've witnessed about what happens when water rises and what happens when is at the back of the creeks, it's the points, it's the bushes underwater, and why are they there? I heard stuff about the bottom I'm not even going to get into, about and water flow and all these, like all the things that we all cared about that like set you apart as fishermen. They all matter again. They all matter in some of these events. And I'm like, oh, that's what we're missing. That's it. I'm telling you right now, that's what was intriguing for me. And they caught nothing. They didn't catch anything on live. I kind of wish they had caught some fish on live. Hackney kept on missing them. Come on, Hackney. Or he lost. I didn't see him losing. He kept on talking about it. I was like, come on, Hackney, get it together. Go catch you freaking 18, 19 pounds. But am I wrong about this? Does that make sense to everyone? I think that's what we're missing. I remember there was a thing on TikTok where a guy, it was a pretty good premise to make videos. I would never do it. It felt somewhat dirty. It was kind of cool, but kind of felt dirty in the same way. And I don't know. It's kind of like when a guy, it'd be like me going out on Rayburn in a tournament. It's like on the final day. And I just go follow everyone around who's in the lead and then find out where all they're fishing and then use that to my advantage, like later on down the line. Everyone's like, well, what's wrong with that? It's just dirty. Like I would never want to be caught on the water. Guys have done this. We've seen guys do this like crazy, like tournament guys. And I just kind of look at them like, oh, you need help. Whatever. I don't want to get into that. But he was looking on live, and this was like, I remember him being up like on Thousand Islands, or the St. Lawrence River, right? I think that's where it was. And he had found where the guy had just, I don't know if it was Robert Gee or whoever it was, the area where the guy won the tournament. And so he made this video of him going there like a couple weeks later and fishing that spot and catching like 26 pounds. And I was like, yeah, it's a kind of a cool premise. But once again, that's not, do y'all get what I'm saying? It's kind of, for me, it's just kind of, it's got that ick vibe to it, right? I sure wouldn't put it on video. Like, it's a cool premise. It's this weird, like, double-edged sword. That's like, it's pretty cool because he was doing it. And I was like, oh, but then there's this other part of you that's like, just dirty. To me, it was. And I was going, oh yeah, I could never do that. But that's what they do in tournaments, I think now. Like all this stuff's on video and stuff, and with Livescope, I might be in an area and you might not really know what I'm fishing. I'm just telling you, there's times where like you might know why the fish are there, all these things. And now you can just roll over there and put Livescope down, and you don't even have to know the cast I was making or anything. You're going to figure it out with Livescope. And so like that mystery of finding that stuff might be lost a little bit. And I'm not blaming it on Livescope, but it's like all the videos and stuff like that and Livescope together. And it shows how a guy like is all of a sudden, especially on like smallmouth events or who knows where, is like catching them. And it was like, well, yes, because that's where it happened last year. And it's not like the guy was in the tournament and saw it happen. The guy just watched YouTube. And then just used scope to figure out where he needed to cast. Right? And so you're watching it go down and you're like, yay. Congratulations. You know what I'm saying? Where here, you're like, some dude's way back in a creek somewhere, and I don't even know, he's in the woods, trees over him, he's catching fish, and he figured something out, and you're going, that wasn't on YouTube. That wasn't on it. That was just you, rod, reel, bait, and figuring it out. Are y'all with me? What do y'all think? It was a big one for me. It was a big like aha moment today. I'm just telling you. What do y'all think?